Hello friends, this is sort of a rant video. I don't really do this usually, but I listened to a podcast recently that really annoyed me to the point that I'm making this video right now. Now I've always tried to keep things like very positive on the channel because I think there's enough negativity in the world everywhere else you look. But this just it just rubbed me the wrong way so hard. I felt like I needed to use my platform to talk about the opposite of what I got from this podcast. Now, I've long promoted the 59 Degrees Sailing on the Wind podcast. I think it's an incredible resource. There are tons of amazing interviews, and Andy Schell, is really good at getting access to interesting people that you've heard of, that you've never heard of, and I've learned a lot from the podcast. But he interviewed for the third time. I don't recall listening to the other ones, but I think the guy's name is, I'm looking at my phone because I saved a bunch of screenshots to kind of help me talk about this. John Harries, I think his name. He does Attainable Adventure Cruising is his website. Morgan's Cloud, I think, is the name of his boat. And his interview annoyed me so much that I had to speak out about it. He was talking about, on his Attainable Adventure Cruising website, he's talking about him and his wife are shopping for a new boat. They're going to downsize and get a smaller boat, which makes sense because they're getting older, he said. And his budget is $250,000. And he was saying, you can't really get a lot for that. It's really on the low end. I don't know what universe people live in where that's attainable adventure cruising, but me and my people, me and my crew, me and the people that I share ideas and passions with, that's something entirely different. So, leaving that note behind, let's talk about actual attainable adventure cruising. So I'm sitting on board Chaitea. I paid $2,500 for this boat. It had a seized engine and hadn't left the dock in 6 years, and it was in a state. Massive project boat. Now, this was on the list of my top 3 boats that I was shopping for, and I happened upon one in a sad state, but I know how to fix things. I have tools because I fabricate things for a living, and I'm not scared of hard work. So, $2,500 got me, one of my dream boats. It wasn't in dream boat state, but it was a perfect jump-off platform. In the same price range, my buddy Sam Holmes, who's in Hawaii, he bought his little boat. I think it's a 23-foot Ranger for $2,500. Now, we both put a considerable amount of money into our boats to get them cruise ready, and I did that by working my day job. And yes, I have a day job. Even just, I'm every once in a while people comment on here saying, well, those tattoos or those earrings guarantee you'll never get a full-time job. I've been working full-time my entire life. So yeah, I do work, and it's not 1950, so the tattoos and stretched ears aren't a big deal in the city of Los Angeles. Shocking, I know. So, I work paycheck to paycheck and buy parts for the boat and refit as I go. Sam did the same thing. He bought his boat and immediately just started putting everything into it, moved on his boat for a year, saved up and bought everything he needed, and he sailed to Hawaii on a 23-foot boat. That is attainable adventure cruising. If you're not mechanically inclined and don't know how to fix stuff, not a problem. There's tons of people to fix your boat out there. It may cost a little bit more, but there's boat mechanics that hang out around pretty much any marina. And the simpler boat you get, the less stuff you're going to have to fix anyway. So, and also if you're wanting to get, if you have the option to get a loan or something, you could, get a loan and get a $20,000 boat. It doesn't have to be this insane number it can be within reason. It can be within, the range of like a used car. So, there's so many good boats out there that are just waiting, and so few boats get used, especially here in Southern California. There's no weather here. We don't have any weather, so these boats are not sailed very hard. Like, the worst thing that happens to these boats is they sit and don't get used. So there's plenty of boats out there. You can find a boat if you have like no money, if you have $1,000, if you have $2,000, if you have $5,000, whatever. You can find a boat that will get you around our islands and up and down the coast, and you'll be smiling the whole time. So find a way to get out there. The other thing is, if you don't have the money, which I didn't for years. I didn't have money for a boat or a slip fee for years. And the way I got out is like, I got on Meetup group. So I got on Meetup. I went on Meetup, which is a website. It's not a dating site. It's just like a social activity site. And I found all the sailboat accounts, like the people taking people cruising on their sailboats for day sails. And you pay like you donate $20, and then you get out on people's boats. And that's what I did for like, I don't know, 6 months. I ended up making good friends with one of the captains that did that. He had his boat. And then he asked me to start racing with him on beer can races. So I started racing. I got tons of sailing experience and just time on the water. Other ways to get on boats is there are sailing clubs. So I know here in Long Beach, there's like, I think it's called the Women's Sailing Club. And they have like small lasers and little boats, keel boats that you can sail or you can rent for really cheap. And I've gone out with some of my female sailor friends before. They took me and let me get into the club, and we went sailing. So that's an option. They also organize like bigger sailing trips. You can there's like sailing groups for veterans. There's sailing groups for people with disabilities. There's sailing groups for everything you can imagine. And I'm not talking about the big expensive yacht clubs. I'm talking about like grassroots organizations for people, getting people who don't have access on boats. So that's an option for you. It's like, this is for everyone. This is for anyone that wants this. It's like, I feel like right now in this day and age is the closest it's been for people that don't come from wealth to be able to get on the water and enjoy it since the 70s, and it's like, we can get out there. We can do it. It's totally there for us. You can also, if you're looking for like passage making or like trying to just find out if you want to do blue water cruising without, having the money to invest in a blue water boat or anything like that, there's a bunch of websites. And that's how I got my first 2 deliveries were from these websites. Let's see, there is Crew Finders and Crew Seekers, I think is another one. There's a number of them out there. Basically what they do, they have different levels of what you can do on these sites. You can sign up and be like, I just want mileage building, which is like building sea days if you want to get your captain's license or time on the water. And there's so many different versions of like captains out there needing help delivering a boat, or they're shorthanded sailing and they want to do a passage with other people so it's easier. There's more people to take watch. So there's a lot of options for where you get yourself to the boat and they pay for all the provisions. So they pay for all your food and everything. But you have to pony up the money to fly there, and they're not going to pay you to be on their boat if you don't have much experience. But you'll get experience at blue water cruising, So that's what I did the first couple of years. Is I would get on there and say I'm available, and my employment allows me to take weeks off at a time, and then I work like I've worked the last 2 weeks working 10 to 12 hour days. So now I have the luxury where I can take a couple weeks off, and it's not going to financially kill me. So you could do that. If you have some vacation time from work set aside, you can try to line it up on one of these cruise seeking websites. Once you get more experience, there are some delivery jobs where they'll fly you out and you'll do the passage and they'll pay for all the food and then they'll fly you home. And then the more you do that, then you'll get jobs where you're getting paid a day rate to deliver yachts. And then eventually, if you become a captain, you'll get paid to captain. But it's a good way to get on yachts. There's another site that's a buddy of Andy Shell's, which I don't know anything about this site, but I've heard about a lot. Offshore Passage Opportunities. And they have like You pay like a yearly fee, and then they put you in the mix. Like, there's tons of these big rallies that take place where people just want extra crew on board. They don't want to do it alone. Like I said, you'll be sitting watch, or they might be looking for someone to do all the cooking on board, so you're working in the galley, or whatever. There are a lot of creeps out there on these sites that are like a single dude who only wants female passengers. So, be aware that exists. I know, big shocker, but that exists out there. But you can navigate through and find lots of different options. I think that offshore passage opportunities really focuses on like the rallies. I can't remember the name of there's that big Caribbean rally on the East Coast. I don't know much about East Coast sailing. There's the Baja Haha that happens out here, where sailors from all over the West Coast meet up in San Diego and they sail to the Sea of Cortez. And I think that's in November. So there's people that are going to need crew on that, and you could just sail down with them, hang out until you have to come home, and then you could fly home. Or you could meet, talk to people on there and help them bring their boats back, which is called the Baja Bash, which is not fun. So don't think that's going to be fun. But sailing down there would be fun. So there's lots of opportunities for you out there to get on sailboats. Don't think that, just because you live on a tight budget, there's not the option for you to go sailing, because there is. There's so many possibilities. I just want you guys to know that, it might take hard work, or it might just take some creative thinking. So check out those options that I listed if you want to get out on boats and save you pennies, and just watch Craigslist. You'll find a boat, and like, if I won the lottery tomorrow, yeah, I would buy a bigger boat. I'd probably buy a 42-foot boat. It would still be a blue water boat. It wouldn't be, and it would probably be vintage. But sure, that there could always be more boat. But the reality is there's a lot of great boats out there that are within range, and their, slip fees aren't that much more than a new car payment. So if you have a used car or an old car that you're not paying on, you might be able to work out, getting a slip fee. So that's just, I had to let you guys know, because it really bummed me out listening to that. The other thing is that guy was talking about his boat right now has like a 200 or 300 gallon fuel capacity on a sailboat. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, you can get out there and go sailing. It's hard. Money sucks. And, boats are expensive. They can be expensive, but you can also just keep things simple. If she floats and her sails hold wind, sometimes that's all the magic you need. And there's like beautiful things out there for you to see. So don't get frustrated. Keep your head up about it, and just get out there and go sailing. So thanks for listening to me rant about this. And if you have any comments, hit me up down below. Thanks for watching, and until next time.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. It helps us a lot.
Thanks again to all of our patrons. Your contributions help us get the boat ready for big things.
Until next time.